There's a soccer bet that hits 87% of the time and almost nobody talks about it. It's not a parlay, it's not a prediction on who wins the match, it's the simplest bet on the entire board. And my tracker shows it's one of the most consistent moneymakers across any sport that I bet on. I'm going to show you the exact system step by step with real numbers, and by the end of this video, you'll be able to find this bet yourself in about 10 minutes. So let's get into it. Most sports bettors in the US completely ignore soccer. They think it's a low scoring sport where nothing happens, and that's exactly why there's money in it. Here's what they're missing. Soccer has more games than any other sport on any given day. On a typical weekday, you've got the Premier League, you've got Bundesliga, Champions League, MLS, and dozens of other leagues all running simultaneously. That volume means there's more opportunities to find edges. And the bet type that we're looking at today is going to be over 1.5 total goals. That means the two teams combined just need to score 2 goals for us to be able to win. Not 3, not 4, just 2 goals in 90 minutes of play. Now you might be thinking that sounds way too easy, and that's exactly the point. It is relatively easy for 2 goals to be scored in a soccer match. But the question is whether the odds that the sportsbook gives us creates a positive edge when we apply the right filters. That's where the system comes in. Here are the 4 criteria that I use to find the over 1.5 goals with a verified edge. Every step narrows that field. By the time all 4 line up, you've got a bet that hits at 87% of the time. Step 1 is both teams need to average at least 1 goal per game. This is the baseline filter. If both teams are averaging over 1 goal per game just on their own, the combined expected goals for the match is already over 2. That's our starting point. Now you might ask, where do you find this? Well, any stat site for soccer, which could be FlashScore, SofaScore, even a basic Google search for the team stats for this season. What you want to look at is you want to look at the goals scored per game for each team. So if Team A averages 1.3 goals per game and Team B averages 1.1 goals per game, combine that, you get what? 2.4 expected goals. And that right there would make you pass step 1. Now let's go ahead and get to step 2, the head-to-head history of the teams going against each other. They need to at least be over 80% to getting over the mark of 1.5 goals. This is where most people stop researching, and that's why most people lose. Season averages tell you what each team does generally. Head-to-head tells you what happens when these two teams play each other specifically. Some matchups just produce goals. 2 rival teams that play an open attacking style against each other will consistently produce over 2 goals, even if one of them plays defensively against other opponents. All of that shows up in the head-to-head data. Now let's go ahead and get to step 3 here. Step 3 is going to be checking each team's recent form. So what you want to do is you want to look at the last 5 matchups for both the teams that are going against each other. Season-long averages can be misleading because the team could have scored 30 goals in their first 15 games but gone through a slump in the last 5. Recent form tells you what's happening right now, not 3 months ago. I want to see both teams having scored in at least 4 of their last 5 matches. That tells me both teams are currently in a goal-scoring rhythm, not 3 months ago. And you can find that information same place. FlashScore, SofaScore, those websites, and even a Google search. You can literally find the head-to-head stuff and recent form to be able to make through these 3 steps. So what you want to do is you want to count how many games each team scored. If both teams scored in 4 or more of the last 5, then you pass step 3. If either team has been shut out in 2 or more of their last 5, you're going to skip it. Now let's go ahead and get to step 4. The odds must have positive edge. Now this is the step that separates value betting from gambling. Once you've confirmed steps 1 through 3, you have a match with a high true probability of going over 1.5 goals. Based on my tracking, matches that pass all 3 filters go over 1.5 goals approximately 87% of the time. 87% true probability translates to implied odds of around minus 670. So your job is simple. If the sportsbook is offering you anything better than minus 670 on the over 1.5 goals, then you have a positive edge. Most sportsbooks price over 1.5 goals in high-scoring matchups at around minus 350 to minus 500. That's an implied probability of about 78% to 83%. So let's go ahead and write that down. If the average implied probability there is between 78% and 83%, and the true probability is 87%, you can see we have a gap here for positive edge, right? Because now, if it's 78 to 80 to 83%, doesn't matter. We have a positive edge because our true probability is going to be around that 87% mark, thus creating that positive edge that we're looking for. Now here's something that most bettors don't realize about in the over 1.5 goals in soccer. The sportsbooks are less sharp on soccer totals than they are on money lines or spreads. The reason is simple. The majority of betting volume in soccer goes on the match results, win, draw, or lose. That's where the sportsbooks focus their sharpest odds-making resources at. The totals market, especially the 1.5 line, gets less attention. Less attention from the book means softer lines. Softer lines mean more edge for people who actually do the research. This is the same principle as my MLB player prop strategy. Sportsbooks can't be equally sharp across every single market. They focus on the popular ones and leave inefficiencies in the less popular ones. Over 1.5 goals in soccer is one of those inefficiencies. And because soccer is played year-round across multiple leagues, this isn't a seasonal strategy. You could run this 365 days a year. There's always a match somewhere that passes all 4 of the criteria that I just showed you. Now, if you guys want to learn and shortcut all of this and learn exactly how to do this right from me, make sure you guys click the link in the description. I know some of you are wondering, how much time does this take each day? The honest answer is about 10 to 15 minutes. Here's my process. I open Flash Score in the morning. I look at the day's matchups across the top 5 European leagues, plus MLS. I check each team's goal per game, their average. That eliminates about 70% of the matchups right there. For the ones that pass step 1, I click into the head-to-head tab, take about 30 seconds per match. That eliminates another half of those. For the survivors, I check recent form, another 30 seconds there each. For the final candidates, I check the odds across 2 to 3 sportsbooks and calculate the edge on a typical day. Out of maybe 15 to 20 matches, I might find probably 1 to 3 that pass all 4 steps. Some days I'll find 0, and then I just don't make a bet. But that's discipline. Forcing a bet that doesn't meet the criteria defeats the entire purpose. So again, over 1.5 goals, 4 simple steps, 10 minutes a day, 87% win rate. It's not glamorous. You're watching a soccer match hoping for 2 goals. Not exactly edge of your seat entertainment. But my tracker shows profit, and that's all that matters. I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.